The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. With me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, into the breach do we go, dear friends. As always, we'd like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we got going on today? Well, it's hurry up and wait. And I don't think you can say it any better than that. It is, let me find what happened here. Everything just went to yet another portfolio. So where is that portfolio? I'm going to have to find it. I can't find anything here. Okay. Can you see it? Can we find it? Oh, this is going to be nasty if I can't see what's going on. What happened? Come on. See if that changes anything there. No? Maybe we do this. Just keep going out here. And there it is. We're back in business, folks. Okay, just taking a look at the view out here. Come on. Now I need to, everything. Okay, we're finally back in business. Okay, right now up let's call it 2 points on the S&P cash, 2389.30. It's been as low as 2382 and as high as 2392. So what do we have going on here today? Well, it's all hurry up and wait, although kind of a theme of a little weakness in the S&P. It's gone down a little bit. Didn't find a lot of sellers. Went back up. Didn't find a lot of buyers. And, of course, this is kind of a ping pong for the news coming across the Communist Network, News Network, and other cable stations about what is happening on a minute-by-minute basis. And I just don't understand it. I think I have a pretty good idea how things are going to turn out. And they're not going to turn out until late in the summer. Betting on how things go in the next 5 minutes might be great if you're trading a 5-minute chart, but it seems just a little ridiculous for me as a swing trader to give that much weight. My guess is that the real movements in this market will come after the bell. We'll look at what's coming up tonight. I think we're probably going to have some surprises to the downside in technology. So we'll be looking for that tonight. We'll be talking about it. The rest of it, who knows? It's just right now, some fairly good volume. No real movement in the markets for the last 2 days. Down a little bit. We're flat for today. Does it mean anything? Probably not as much as the earnings coming out after the bell tonight. We're going to go through the earnings from last night and today also. So we'll be getting along fairly quickly. As always, we like to start the show off with a little bit of history.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating on this day. Come on. Why is that not? There we go. On this day in 1978, Afghanistan President Sardar Mohammad Duad is overthrown and murdered in a coup led by pro-communist rebels. The brutal action marked the beginning of political upheaval in Afghanistan that resulted in the intervention by the Soviet troops less than 2 years later. And, of course, there's more to this story, and it kind of starts in around 1982 with a fairly unknown congressman. He was known as the Playboy of Capitol Hill. he decided, ran into some people, decided to go over there and check out what was going on as a fact-finding trip. It was actually a trip so that he could go get bombed and chase women. But he got over there and kind of found a mission. That mission was having the U.S. get involved in it on the sidelines, and eventually led almost 8 years later to the Russians leaving Afghanistan with their tails between their legs. Mostly it was giving Stinger missiles and shooting down all the Hind helicopters from the Russians. They shot down so many helicopters, blew up so many tanks with our new weapons that basically it ran Russia pretty much broke. And it's occasionally you get one man doing one thing and coming up with one idea. Literally took down the Soviet Union, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but he gave them a giant push off the cliff. There's a movie out about it with Tom Hanks. If you catch it once, it'll be fairly interesting. There's some great YouTube videos of the congressman that are incredibly interesting back in the day with 60 Minutes. But very, very interesting day out here. Started really something that backfired on the Soviets and dooming them. I'm wondering if we don't see maybe something similarly developing right now with the North Koreans, i.e. they took a bridge too far. But on this day was the start of the end of the Soviets in Afghanistan. And, well, wouldn't start. It was about 4 years after that. But you never really kind of know how things are going to play out in a very complicated game that comes out like this. But now you know.
Now you know the rest of the story.
But pretty much, yeah. No. It wasn't Congressman Kennedy. It was a guy, unknown, from way out in the boonies of Texas. A guy out there that actually only got into politics because his next door neighbor killed his dog. It's a very interesting story. I'll bring it up maybe here in the next segment again. Let's get to earnings, because that's all that's happening out here. We're going to get to after the bell. We'll talk about these for just a minute, and then we're going to get into the earnings and how they've come out. Abaxis, Anglo Eagle Mines after the bell, Aflac, Align Technologies, Amazon, A10 Networks, Athena Health, Cerner Corporation, Cloud Peak Energy, Carlisle Companies, Columbia Properties, Cypress Semiconductor, Digital Realty Trust. That's kind of an interesting because it's a REIT for San Francisco and the bubble there. I'm watching that one very closely. Eldorado Gold, Ellie Mae, Expedia, First Energy, Flex Limited, Electronics actually. Google A, Google B, Google C, GoPro, Intel, the Hartford companies, Intel, KLA 10 quarter, Mohawk Industries. We'll get the rest in after.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we are back, the other stocks coming on after the bell tonight. What do we get to? Mohawk. Microsoft, Starbucks, SkyWest, Sarepta Therapeutics, Skyworks Solution, of course, the company. Now, this is going to give us an idea on, and probably will move Apple. They sell a lot of products or parts that will go in the next iPhone. Their forecast on when that is going to come will kind of tell us when the iPhone is going to ship. The issue is a lot of rumors that they may slip for deliveries for the iPhone actually into December, which would cut off a lot of Christmas buying, which they kind of rely on for the iPhone. Synaptics, Southwest Energy, Temkin Steel, Trimble, the GPS company, Tenaris, VeriSign, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, Western Digital, of course, coming off that horrible earnings report from Seagate, Weatherford International. So a lot of stuff going on out there. During the break, somebody in the den asked me if I would opine a bit more on the FANG stocks into earnings tonight, especially Google and Microsoft. My problem is that if you're not a big YouTube viewer, you may not have noticed just how tough it's been for a lot of the channels that I watch regularly on YouTube to get advertising. A lot of them have been screwed up. A lot of them have had their channels turned off. That means that ads haven't been running on those. I don't know the scope of it, so I'm not going to predict. I'm also not going to say how much they could have moved some of the earnings into this quarter that they're already stealing from next quarter on, and how the market's going to react. But my guess is that YouTube numbers are going to be down, and down significantly from previous quarters, mostly because, of course, they decided to get into the politically correct thing and invited a bunch of people in to snipe at them from the balcony. And of course, suddenly they're putting ads on Nazi sympathizers, and then suddenly everybody's being called a Nazi sympathizer. So everybody takes their ads off. We saw what happened at Fox, who lost one of its guys. The same thing has happened in YouTube. The difference that the media likes Google, media likes Apple. They don't like Fox, so Fox gets pummeled. But literally, we've had the exact same thing, and advertisers leave just as they did at Fox, at Google. We've seen some of that at Facebook, too. So the question is, how much of that's going to come into this quarter? I think pretty much a lot of it is from the cutoff date. The question is, they probably got that money booked, and they're just saying, well, we'll get it in this quarter. We didn't get it in that quarter. How many people are willing to say that we'll look past this? But my guess is that you're going to see earnings down, mostly for these on ads that people, especially big corporations that don't want to be tied to controversy, do. It's kind of like Pepsi. Pepsi, I didn't like their earnings very well. You could kind of tell from that weird ad they ran promoting riots that they were kind of grasping at straws. And I've seen basically YouTube put 5 or 4 ads on where one used to go. So I think they're trying to basically cram a bunch of ads down viewers' throats, which also makes me think that they're going to whiff on those earnings numbers, and they're going to say, well, we just doubled up on the ads this month. I don't know how Wall Street's going to take it. I don't think that there's a lot of upside to Google. I do think, depending on how they come out with the news and sugarcoat it, will Wall Street look through that, the sugarcoating, or will they just say, it's one more thing, a bump in the road? Kind of tough to figure it out. Microsoft, it's hard to think that things get any better for Microsoft. That's probably the worst part of it. They're doing everything right, but I think they've done pretty much everything right they can do at the present time. Next quarter, I think they have a much better earnings possibility. They've just released a product finally that is the offspring of LinkedIn and Microsoft getting together. There's some fairly good earnings probably coming out of that, but it launched, what, a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that, maybe 10 days ago. That's not going to be in this quarter. The question is how, again, not on straight earnings, not on the first list, but by the end of the earnings call, how do these companies respond to that news? And as I said before, I think you're much better off looking at how they react to the news. Does everybody give them the same kind of leeway that they give Tesla, i.e. you can miss everything and we don't care? Doesn't matter whether you actually got the cars built or not. We don't care. We think you're the future, and that's it. Now, just how much people are going to look past earnings. Microsoft, probably not going to get that kind of leeway. Google has whiffed a few times in the last couple of years, and they have not got that kind of leeway either. So I'm thinking, like I said, there's a couple out there. Amazon, kind of tougher to say. They didn't get hit with any kind of earnings problem. Again, any of these companies like Facebook or Snapchat or the rest of them that actually the product is the customer, i.e. you're trying to sell your customers, a lot of times all the content comes from your customers, and maybe you don't like what they have to say, and maybe your advertisers don't like what they have to say. On Amazon, they are the advertiser. All they're trying to do is get you to buy something from them. It's a lot clearer for Amazon to avoid the pitfalls and the alligators and the swamps than it is for these companies that heavily depend on, content from people. Facebook, good example. How many people wanted to have an ad on the Facebook page right next to the far left Nazis in Germany? It's a worldwide issue. 2, I would also say I've been covering it in the Tech Insider, and that is the horrific way that U.S. big companies, the FANGs, are being treated or being reported on, let me put it that way, in Europe. They are viciously attacked almost on a daily basis. We give, at least in the U.S. here, they get a super free ride because the press actually likes them and doesn't, kind of can't do any wrong. Kind of like today. I've waited for a whole 24 hours and thought, okay, where's going to be the giant outrage that a president was bought off for $400,000 by a Wall Street firm? Well, it's pretty much nowhere because guess what? The press loves one party, hates the other party, but 95% of all money during the election went to one party. And now we see a president, $400,000. That's what it takes to buy one. You know that. We'll be back after this break.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We had a question in the den to talk about net neutrality changes. There's been some discussion that his name is Pai, P-A-I, I believe, who's now really running the FCC. And the question is, what's going to happen with net neutrality? Well, net neutrality really affects who? It affects those people shipping the most amount of data across the network. So Netflix, Amazon for Amazon Prime and their video. Anybody that's moving a lot of audio or a lot of video across the network is most likely going to be affected the most. The question is, what form will this take? Is this just a negotiating ploy for the president and his guy over there at the SEC to threaten at least a handful of these folks in Silicon Valley that have been openly hostile? Certainly, they're not going to want to do them any favors, especially after the election. And they try to make nice and at least become frenemies. But if you're Netflix and like me, I'm stuck with Comcast for my provider, what would it be like if they slowed that data down? A net neutrality basically says no matter what it is, no matter who it comes from, I'm not going to mess with it any differently than any other data. Theoretically, Comcast could slow down the streams from Netflix and push its own brand of video on demand. The same thing with Amazon's Prime. Again, probably not the biggest part of their earnings right now comes from videos. But anybody that heavily demands huge bandwidth and continuous bandwidth could be jacked with fairly easily with a change in net neutrality. I have a feeling a lot of this is covered in the press rather poorly, kind of like everybody freaking out over at the cable news networks. Oh, we're going to leave NAFTA. We're going to leave NAFTA. Oh, it's the worst thing in the world. And then, of course, we get phone calls from Canada and Mexico saying, oh, we're willing to talk. We're willing to talk. There's got to be a negotiation, and it's not just well, let me put it this way. In this administration, it won't be we just fold. Whatever you want. That's fine. We negotiate in public, and we tell you that we're going to just leave and go away. It doesn't go that way. Basically, we've got negotiations going on in the public view. And, of course, for the most part, a lot of these guys covering it, fellows, women too, I guess. I kind of feel like I'm watching an episode of Punk'd on MTV where they're just playing goofs on stuff. On the reporters on a daily basis. They still don't get it. Most of them, I don't think, ever read The Art of the Deal. But Trump's a big fan of hitting you in the head with a hammer and then starting to talk to you about negotiations. So the question is this kind of just hanging out here as a negotiating point where if the people at Facebook and maybe Amazon who have been openly hostile and almost to the point of trying to get an insurrection of the government. Is this going to be kind of one of the, you haven't done me any favors, we're not going to do you any? I think it gets somewhat political, and you have to watch out for it. But a lot of times, I'd say 9 out of 10 times so far, these things that seem like a ball-peen hammer to the forehead of someone, whether it's NAFTA or something else, suddenly a week later, guess what? We're negotiating. And so we might find more of that there. I can't see that much happening. Yep, you've got to read The Art of the Deal or you will not understand this president. But again, net neutrality, is it really going to affect that many companies? The bullseye, Netflix, the Amazon to a little extent. Who else streams video? Well, literally everybody now, including TFNN. So could we be affected? Yes. Would it be affected as much as somebody else? Probably not. They're probably going to target people like that if they ever get into it. I just don't see net neutrality going away without a little bit of negotiation. And until we see a little bit more push down the road on this, I wouldn't get too excited just yet, although I think the stock market may look at Netflix and find that it's the easiest to sell on that news. Okay. We were going through all the earnings. So what else do we want to go into? We wanted to go into stocks that already had earnings. We've already talked about it. Someone was talking about Grubhub earlier on Steve's show. Nice little pop out here for this one today on huge volume. I won't spend a lot of time on that. We'll just go through these as fast as we can the rest of the day. Abaxis, not much movement. Oh, is this after the bell? Amazon, this is. Let's go to the ones that are actually already out. Hang on a second. There we go. The airlines have done rather poorly today after earnings. In the last couple of days, many of the airlines have not looked good. And of course, we really didn't know. Again, it's kind of like Google. You don't know how much all that ad revenue, they've actually called it on Google the ad apocalypse for some. But anyway, you don't know how much that's going to affect. We've seen how much the airlines have talked down their forward earnings after the fiasco with the guy being dragged down the aisle. And you see a lot of that in American Airlines today. The CEO was out doing some mea culpas on the airline business as a whole, saying they didn't think about the customer too much. Down fairly significant volume. Next low, $39.21. Ally Financial Capital, down about 50 cents or 75 cents. No big deal. Amgen, gap down. It's gotten a little bit better. Volume's not all that significant, but there is a gap at about 157. My guess is that's the next place to check out this one. American Tower, the company that puts up all the towers for the cell business in the United States, seems to be doing well. Another new high. Again, volume not coming in that exciting so far, but we're going to have to check that at the end of the day. What else do we have? A.O. Smith, we talked about this one breaking out. Again, the housing business is very interesting. I saw a discussion today about whether or not there is a housing bubble in Canada, especially in the major cities like Toronto. They passed a law that basically says that there will be rent management, kind of like New York City had. And a lot of people are freaking out, thinking that there won't be higher prices now that the rents are fixed in some of the bigger cities in Toronto. A.O. Smith, of course, make water heaters, that kind of stuff. You would have liked to seen this thing really kind of break out with maybe 2 million shares today. You got 1.1 million shares. So is it up? Yeah, lighter volume, no. But certainly I wanted to see more volume for the breakout. We'll get to the rest of these by the end of the show. We'll try to get through all of them and hurry up and wait for earnings after the bell tonight.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
On assignment, out with earnings, a nice pop up to 53.50 today. Had the juice, a good sign of strength. Not all the stocks giving us that did have earnings. We'll just skip these that really didn't move that much. AstraZeneca up a little. No big juice out here. Bristol-Myers Squibb, nice little gap up. Again, not much juice, just up to a previous gap that only goes back a few weeks. What is that? This gap down on 12.4 million shares on the 31st of March. And yeah, 13, it was called 12.4 million shares, up with a little over 10 million shares. So again, up, significant volume. I mean, about the same. That's why I'm not excited to the upside too much out here for after the bell tonight too. Boston Scientific, a nice little pop on it. Kind of gave a lot of that back. Looks like that could come back into the trading range. Buffalo Wild Wings. I tried to actually go there last week ahead of earnings and check out if anything has changed. Used to go there all the time. But man, has the place gotten expensive. You've heard me opine many times that I could buy a nice filet at Logan's Roadhouse for what 12 wings and a little bit of celery and some blue cheese cost me. So it's kind of, I just think it's way too expensive. You were supposed to have cheap food where people could suck down lots of beer, and it's become very expensive food where people try to suck down some beer that's very expensive. So I don't know. It just seems to me, maybe if you're a big sports head, it changes stuff. But I don't know. It's just very tough for me unless the wings start getting cheaper. I think I'd go have a steak. What else do we have out here? Cash, Meta Financial, down a little. This is CASH for the symbol if you're unfamiliar with this stock. Just going sideways, though, for the most part. Celgene, down, gap down, up a little bit, repaired some of it. Volume is about what it has been the last 4 or 5 days, so no clear signal. Cliffs Natural has finally come back to this gap. I've been waiting for it for a while. It gapped up on the 9th of November with 27.8 million shares. So what do we have today? 42 million shares. Not good news. You kind of had a nice test earlier, and I was starting to say, hey, some of these things in this sector are starting to look a little better on the 18th with just 15 and 16 million shares going into that 28 million share day. Today, the 42 million shares. Now, it did repair a lot of that, but still means that at best, you're probably going to go sideways and consolidate for a while. The expected giant V bottom in this probably not going to happen real soon. And of course, you saw the weakness in crude today kind of coming along with that. Carbo Ceramics, the company that Jim Cramer built and pumped up to an astronomical level. Of course, they make specialized sand for fracking. What they found out was that other companies could polish existing sand and it would do almost as well as Carbo Ceramics. So this company's been in a world of hurt since that happened. And also since the prices went from $150 down to 48 bucks on crude, how much can you spend on this magic sand from Carbo Ceramics? Down huge volume. It's down into this previous gap up that had 1.8 million shares with already 3.8 million shares already. Today looks like the death spiral on this one. At least you're checking out the $5.66 low with $2.43. One of our subscribers was talking to me earlier today, and we were talking about the XLE, and I think maybe it was even yesterday. And I said, you know, until I start seeing that Baker Hughes rig count come down every week, I'm going to probably think that the supply is just going to get bigger and bigger. Even if you have a little bit of a drawdown, I'm thinking that that's more of a hiccup in supply than it is any long-term change. So can I look at Burlington or a short? Take a quick look. I've seen that, it's been in my newsletter. I didn't like it because the earnings were coming out fairly soon. If I'm not mistaken, this is the 4th or 5th next week, so I wasn't going to short it coming into it. But certainly a very nice test of the April 3rd high that had 2.37 million shares with 1 million shares. It's just gone sideways. But again, I think earnings are Tuesday or Wednesday next week. I'll try to check during the break and find that one. I'm not going to go short into this thing before earnings. They can pack in another quarter to it. If this thing doesn't do much after earnings, I think it would be a great shot anywhere probably after earnings above 96 bucks. But I'm not going to get in front of the freight train coming on in that one. Cooper Tire and Rubber, big disappointment. Went through two major gaps, actually almost three. 1, 2, 3. Back to this gap up on 2.6 million shares on the 17th of February. Had 2.6 million shares. Just not too bad so far, 1.5 million shares. But again, man, you had a lot of people buying this thing on the way up, and you're basically back to the middle of February where everybody's trapped like rats, and it's back into this trading range. My guess is it's going to be very tough for these guys to ever get their cash back. If I was long that thing, I would go ahead and take the pain and sell it right then. Citrix Systems opened up about where it closed yesterday, but rolled over hard. Now, this is the company that makes online communication systems like Skype for business. I keep on hearing John Logan talking about some other systems that are coming out that look like they could maybe bypass Citrix Systems. They've got PC Anywhere, but that's kind of getting long in the tooth. You can do RPC on Windows, so you don't need it as much. The whole Skype part of this thing looks like maybe it could be fairly weak. You've got the untested low out here at $70.24 from February 1st, so that is problematic. Got a question about ConocoPhillips. Looks like it's filling the gap. I have puts expiring tomorrow. Vinny in Boston. Well, Vinny in Boston, I'd hold your puts till about 10 or 10:30 tomorrow. I don't think that crude had a fairly bad day today. Let me take a quick look out here. See if that actually has changed any. What do we got? We're just off 50 cents now. It got down to, what, 48.80? But I don't know if you're going to have a lot of people wanting to jump in front of the train on that one either going into the weekend. I would probably say that if you don't see any significant more weakness, if you haven't already covered already in the plot down to 46.86, which probably should have been, as we've talked on this show so many times, halfway through the existing gap is where you look. And that's exactly where this got today. That's probably where you would have wanted to pull the trigger on those puts. If not, you're waiting till 10:30 tomorrow morning. Get lucky, maybe you get down to 46.86 again tomorrow morning. We'll be back for the last segment in the show.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And it is Thursday, so we've got Tom O'Brien for the next 2 hours, Andy Heck in the 5 o'clock hour. A lot of gold stocks after the bell tonight. I can't remember gold stocks really getting moved that much by earnings. Pretty much stuck on the price of gold, but maybe you'll comment on a few of those that are coming out after the bell. What do we have for Dolby Labs? Came down to about 50-50, and pretty much has gotten it all back, so I don't know if you can make a great deal about that. Dow Chemical off a little back into this gap from a few days ago. No big deal. Domino's Pizza, little doji up here. We've been seeing a handful of these companies open and have on earnings have these little dojis coming up off of them and then closing and opening lower setting up some abandoned babies. So watch for the open tomorrow on Domino's and see if this thing opens back up at about 182. You may have some very big signals. We talked about the ones in the rails before. Ethan Allen, we've been talking about the theme that I've seen a lot. That's some of these home associated stocks having some fairly big weakness. We were looking at, I think after the bell tonight, Fannie Mae. And a lot of them look very weak out here. Ethan Allen, of course, as soon as you buy your house, you fill it with Ethan Allen furniture. This down on heavy volume today, and it hadn't quite gotten down to the 27.75 that it's had before. But I'm starting to see a theme of stocks surrounding the housing business. Ford Motor Company, a little dark cloud cover on yesterday's move. FFIV, this one, as we said, you want to look halfway into the gap. And what is this on FFIV? When it gave it all up, right back down halfway into this gap up from the 27th of October with 5 million shares. Now, what do you got? You got 3.1 so far. So could this consolidate out and be a buying opportunity? It could be. I don't like it, though. The December 21st high had 1.15 million shares at 148.34. You've got March 20th with just 600,000 shares. So you had a clear indication that this thing came in with half the volume up here at 149, 148. The energy hasn't been all that exciting off so far, except and even today, less than the gap up. But there is yet another gap that goes down to about 122. And my guess is that's where this is going to go, and you need to watch it for a while down there around the 122s to find out if there's any place out here. Gold Corp off a little. I guess they had earnings out after the bell last night or this morning. Volume kind of in line. This thing has kind of broken below the $14.46 low of March 14th that had 9 million shares. And, of course, you got 11 million shares already, so you are breaking that with a volume. Graco, nice breakout. Looks like it's going to have some juice. Would have liked to see a little more volume, but one of the better ones out here. Symbol is GGG. GNRC, Generac Holdings. This is a company that you want to buy on the next giant hurricane. We just haven't had any. A lot of the foul weather up north, it's got up to 44.84. And, of course, instantly collapsed because guess what? It wasn't that big a deal. This thing kind of trades around this $32 to $38 range, back down around 32 again, and waiting for a hurricane would not probably be a bad way to trade it. Well, we got through halfway through the earnings. There's just too many for one show. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.